What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I am here to do a quick one. Real quick, actually, before I get to that, I know I've been talking about it a lot and been like, you know, previewing it or whatever, but I have been working super hard, um, you know, pretty much every day trying to get this, off-season content for you, draft and free agency and everything. And when when I do finally, when I do finally start getting to actually like making and releasing these videos, which I'm getting close to, I will actually be able to start making some of these videos here shortly, or at least the first video here shortly. Um, you know, but when I do, you'll see it's pretty extensive, pretty in depth. There's a lot that's going into it, and so a lot of good information that's gonna be in them. So in the videos, so bear with me a little bit longer. I know I've been talking about it for a while, but that stuff is coming and it will be soon. So not too much longer of a wait before we actually start diving into, the off-season stuff. But thankfully there actually has been, a decent amount of news, to talk about, and videos to, be able to make, content to be able to make and stuff like that, which is good. Although, with this video, this will probably be the last one that has anything related to the coaching staff, because the coaching staff does appear to be basically done and finished at this point. So yeah, other than that, we're just going to keep it. Now, I am going to obviously also, as I've said, I'm going to be doing videos on like big boards and mock drafts and things like that. So I am going to find different sources. I've done a couple. I did a, Bleacher Report big board and mock draft. I'm going to find other sources, CBS, ESPN, Daniel Jeremiah. I'm going to find these different sources and I'll make videos for you on that. On those, so that way there's content. And because I am going to be, like I said, very much in a learning stage as I try and increase my knowledge base and evolve as a content creator, so I can do more things that are draft and free agency oriented. And anyway, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into the actual topics of things that are going on today. So I am going to pop over real quick. There are two things. The Dolphins did sign a guy today. It's a former wide receiver, or former 49ers wide receiver, River Craycraft. I don't really know anything about him, but he obviously has familiarity with Mike McDaniel in San Francisco, and his system and everything. So that obviously could be good from that familiarity standpoint. He could help other guys learn. He already knows what's going on, and so we also do need help in the wide receiver room. So, bringing in a guy, we'll see. I mean, as of right now, like I said, I don't really know anything about him, but yeah, so just a quick roster move there for you guys. They did sign a wide receiver. Also, something that was huge from yesterday that I didn't get to. I didn't have time to make a video on it, but I figured I'd be making one today probably anyway, and so I am. So I figured I'd just get it in here. And pretty awesome news, actually. And as you can see, Adam Schefter here, multiple people obviously reported on it, but Miami is hiring former Dolphins legend Sam Madison as its quarterback's pass game specialist per source. Madison, a four-time Pro Bowl selection with the Dolphins from 75 to 05, spent the past 3 seasons coaching the Chiefs secondary and cornerbacks. And that's I've said up to this point that I love the offensive side of the ball when it comes to the staff, but I'm a bit worried about the defensive side of the ball, and I can see some potential issues that could arise from that, especially with the forcing of Josh Boyer onto Mike McDaniel and the ramifications that it could potentially have with prominent players. But this is actually an awesome fucking hiring. Obviously, Sam Madison was a great player for us. but to be able to have him now come here back to Miami as a coach, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I would love to see some of the other guys if they were interested. I don't know. Is Zach Thomas interested? Is Jason Taylor ever going to be interested in coaching? If they were, then, obviously I'd love to. Cam Wake, I'd love to have Cam Wake come in as a coach or a consultant or something like that, right? I would love to have more former players be coaches and stuff like that and whatever. Anyway, so just fun stuff there, and obviously that should round out the coaching staff. There is one other thing I want to talk about, and it's this report here, which I have pulled up. Because it has been some discussion. Now, obviously, this is tied in with the fact that there is that lawsuit out there. Brian Flores has this lawsuit. And, if it's proven to be true, there could potentially be serious ramifications for Stephen Ross, right? All of that is really big ifs. And so far, now, I haven't followed it, closely since, the first few days. Like, the first few days after Brian Flores, filed his lawsuit, I was watching all the media, stuff he was doing and blah, 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 reading the articles. I haven't, been like tabbed in and following their lawyers since then. Obviously not much has been written since then because they're just playing through the process, other than he updated it because he was pissed that the Texans didn't hire him and, stupid shit like that. But aside from that, I've just been letting it play out. Well, obviously there's been the talk aside from that. The only other thing really has been the talk that Stephen Ross could potentially sell the team if it's all proven to be true. But they still have to prove it. And so far, from what I've seen, there's not any hardcore evidence. Now, they say they have guys that, including Chris Greer, that can verify these claims. Obviously, we have to wait and see. But it's a pretty big if to see if he can even prove it to begin with. That's a pretty huge if. And then it's even if he does prove it, it's still a pretty big if that he's actually going to get voted out as owner, right? So that's a big if. And then even if you get that far, getting rid of his succession plan, nullifying that is an even bigger if. So that's probably not going to happen. So it'll probably end up going to Bruce Beal. So, even if he was forced to sell the team and Bruce Beal took over, he'd probably still have, he'd probably still be around. Anyway, but whatever. So let's go ahead and get into this because there is a little tidbit to that whole conversation that does make it a little bit more interesting. So report, Tom Brady a name to watch for future ownership stake in the Dolphins. Recently retired quarterback Tom Brady is reportedly a name to watch for a potential ownership stake in the Miami Dolphins if Stephen Ross opts to sell the NFL franchise, which as of now, it doesn't seem like he has any intention to do so. In fact, he has said he has every intention to fight the claims, right? So Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk reported Thursday that Ross could decide to sell the organization before the league investigates allegations brought forward by former head coach Brian Flores, including an alleged offer of $100K per loss in 2019. So I don't think he's going to sell. It doesn't seem like he would sell before this process plays out. Anyway, Ross's business, for him to sell, I would think it would have to come down to him being proven to have done this and the owners actually giving a shit, the other owners. Because you got to get a 3/4 vote of the other 31 owners. Ross's business partner, Bruce Beal, holds the first right to buy the Dolphins from Ross, and there's a lingering belief Beal would sell a small percentage of the team to Brady per Florio. I actually don't hate that idea, though, honestly. Because, what are the things that I'm saying about what I've been saying about Bruce Beal is it doesn't necessarily excite me because, he's just another New York real estate guy. He's a friend of Ross. He's the CEO of one of his companies. Is he really going to be any different? But if he's trying to give, not just a former player, but one of the greatest to ever play, an ownership stake and then potential, valid input, it actually could be a good idea, right? The 81-year-old real estate billionaire joined the team's ownership group in 2008, became the majority owner with a 95% stake 1 year later. In January 2020, Ross told Armando Salguero of the Miami Herald that he didn't plan to sell the franchise during his lifetime. I have no interest in selling, zero. Got it? That I can tell you, he said. People can want to write. They can write whatever they want. I'm the owner till I die. I love it. Honestly, I expect that to be the case, unfortunately. But that stance may be changing, though. Florio noted that given the likelihood that Flores' claims will be corroborated, it could open Ross up to potential criminal violations under the U.S. Sports Bribery Act. So he could instead decide to sell the team to Beal and move on. Look, it could happen. I'm just going to... I'm pretty much like this on most things, but I'm going to be on a wait and see basis. Now, I'd love to see it. And if Bruce Beal is going to be the guy, I'd love to see him give a piece to Brady, because I actually think that would be a smart move that could potentially help us. Flores' allegations came as part of a lawsuit filed against the NFL and 3 of its teams seeking damages for racial discrimination. Meanwhile, Brady announced his retirement February 1st after 22 seasons with the Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers that resulted in 7 Super Bowl championships, the most ever by a player. Celebrity Net Worth lists the legendary quarterback's net worth at $250 million, and his wife, model Gisele Bündchen, checks in at $400 million, giving the family the financial bottom line necessary to become part of an NFL ownership group. I mean, it must be fucking nice, bro. It's unclear whether the couple is interested in such a venture, but Brady said on the Let's Go podcast while he was contemplating retirement that those familial decisions would pave his future. I said this a few years ago. It's what relationships are all about, he said. It's not always what I want. It's what we want as a family, and I'm going to spend a lot of time with them and figure out in the future what's next. His long-term on-field rival, Peyton Manning, has also been linked to a group with interest in buying the Denver Broncos, so that friendly rivalry could take on a new form in the years ahead. That said, so far it's unclear whether Ross has a genuine interest in selling the Dolphins. Like I said, I don't expect him to. I expect him to, fight this whole thing and try and get it, either swept under the rug or just win or whatever. Bury Flores, I don't know, something along those lines. That would be my expectation. And again, even if they do manage to prove it and come out with some legitimate fucking evidence, I still don't expect the owners to, make it happen and, 3/4 vote, because then that makes them vulnerable. Do they want, I don't know, do they think it's serious enough? Is it a big enough deal? I don't know, because they probably do a lot of similar shit, right? Like, I can't imagine that these other owners don't be doing shady shit that they're not supposed to. They're all super rich. They all do shady shit. They all had to do shady shit to get that rich. I mean, that's just the way that business works, especially in America. So, nobody's ever going to be able to tell me or argue the side that, oh no, they could have got their money, cleanly and righteously. Get the fuck out of here, bro. To get that rich, you got to fuck people over along the way. Okay? So because that's how the fucking totem pole works in this motherfucking country and in the world. So anyway, do I expect them to get rid of Ross? Probably not. Do I expect the NFL or whatever, or the owners to nullify his succession plan? No. I have even less hope of that, right? So my expectation is Ross will still be the owner. If he's not, it'll end up going to Bruce Beal. However, the one little caveat to that is, at this point, since I'm not, and I haven't been a Ross fan for a while, honestly, bro, I would love to see a situation, if I had to pick my ideal scenario, and this is how I'll wrap this whole thing up, but if I had to pick my ideal scenario, it would be that through some form or fashion, whether or not, hardcore evidence comes out, or he just gets ahead of this thing so he doesn't, have to be investigated for criminal shit, whatever. Ross sell the team, fine, let it go to Bruce Beal, but let him show the, awareness and the, the foresight and stuff like that, to be able to be like, look, I'm not a football guy. The dude who's been running it for the past 15 years isn't really a football guy and it hasn't worked out. Let me bring in some football people, right? And bringing in Tom Brady, I think, actually, if he wanted to do that, because you know, he's a competitor, he's a winner. And then you also got Dan Marino there, also working as a consultant. You actually could be shaping up to have a leadership group in the Miami Dolphins that knows what the fuck they're doing and, you know, could actually steer us in the right direction. And then if you pair that with, again, I'm still worried about some of the forcing of the defensive staff on Mike McDaniel, but Mike McDaniel himself in that offensive side of the ball could certainly form the foundation of the coaching staff you need in place. So there is room for potential optimism here. I'm cautiously optimistic about where the Dolphins are going. A lot is going to play out over the next year, so it's going to be really interesting and fascinating to watch and see what happens. And as mentioned, I am still, as of now, gotta wait. I'm still waiting on tickets to go on sale, but I am planning to go to the NFL draft this year. I will be there live and in person, so I'm pumped up for that. I can't wait. And so I'm also making all kinds of preps to be able to take my show on the road and make sure that I'm providing you guys content while I'm there. I'll be doing stuff on Instagram, so make sure you follow me there. Probably be tweeting stuff out. I'm trying to get better at my social media presence and like tweeting more and stuff like that. And I'm still trying to figure out like Instagram. I'm really not very good at it. I don't really go places generally to begin with anyway, so I'm not like generally taking pictures, but like I will be doing that stuff obviously at the draft, so make sure you check out that. Be making little videos that I'll put up on Instagram and stuff, but obviously also too I'm trying to make it so that way I can even make content for you on the channel. So, but either way, it's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. So make sure you join me for that and all of the upcoming content that I have for you guys. So with that, I am going to get out of here. Before I do, make sure you check out the Rave On Sports App, the new fan-driven sports app for all of your sports, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, college, whatever you like. They got it, and they are looking to enhance your game day experience with live play-by-play coverage, live chats with other fans and content creators like myself, while also providing you with an arena to dispute all of the terrible officiating. So look for the links to that in the description box. And with that, I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at DillonTartaro, as well as on Instagram at Dolphins_with_Dillon. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.
Tannehill will throw it. This will end it after the shovel will run. Brown circling, holding down. Gronkowski did not let him go. Touchdown. Tannehill three. Oh, miracle. The miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Knight. Enemy help off the field. Unimaginable what has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Pure joy. Miami wins it.